By 2030, Texas is going to be the largest hub of data centers in the country. And they're on track to be one of the largest in the world. The irony of a state that is in constant drought conditions. And I live in Austin, so I'm speaking from a firsthand account. A state that is constantly in a perpetual drought, and also that has very high utility costs. There's already 591 data centers here. And the fact that it's going to grow, where do you think the priorities for water and utilities are going to go to? They're going to go to these corporations. They're going to go to these companies that have been granted the tax incentives. There's no long-term studies that have been done. There's nothing that shows that the benefit to those that surround these data centers, their livelihoods will increase in a positive way. Their life expectancy will decrease in a negative way. Livestock, your farming, that's not even including what happens to the elevations and pollution, all of these things. So when you decide that you want to go to the park one day or some, state park and take in the scenery, good luck when they're probably going to try to repurpose that for land that could be used for a data center. Everywhere I turn in Texas, I see these giant blocks. And then you think about what happens when they up and decide, yeah, this isn't profitable anymore. We'll just leave. Yeah, this isn't working anymore. You're stuck with all of the infrastructure that it took to create this data center. That's the water, the plumbing that you help subsidize, the roads, and all of the highways that help to give the accessibility to these data centers, all in hopes that within 10 years or wherever, you're going to start seeing some tangible benefits in terms of the local economic boom. When that doesn't happen, it does not benefit the cities for which these data centers are in. When your utility costs are sky high and the environmental impact is sky high. These people, it's like they're so short centered in their thinking, and they're so bought and paid for by these large political action committees, these super PACs, that their loyalty isn't to the constituents. It's to big money. It's to big tech. It's to the military industrial complex, which really benefits because currently the biggest state is Virginia. What's in Virginia besides most of the police state, the military industrial complex? Then in Texas, same thing. A lot of your military industrial complex and defense contractors are here. So think about the correlation between the MIC and think about how data centers are being pushed and shoved down people's throat. How many town hall meetings do you see where people have picket signs and people are protesting against, hey, no new data centers in my backyard? These politicians don't care because they're thinking solely about the money. Then they lie and gaslight saying, oh, well, if they don't come here, they'll just go somewhere else. So we want that money to stay here and benefit in the jobs. And these are short-term jobs, just like any large capital project. Most of those jobs are short-term jobs in construction. They are not long-term jobs that stay and continuously feed into that local economy or even that the county economy. They leave and go to another data center or to another job site. And then a lot of those large employers, they're bringing their big money employees are transferring from another location, and then they come to be in that region. And that's on a small level. They're not hiring a lot of locals. Then they take it a step further and say, oh, well, this is why we got to bring in the H-1Bs because we don't have enough qualified workers locally. You knew that when you chose to go into this small town, that the workforce there isn't conducive to it. And the ones that are there are willing to take well below what their value is and their worth because they're just trying to work, or they don't even get the opportunity because you bringing in cheaper labor. So it doesn't help those locals. So now they get pushed out because their utility costs are higher, plus their property taxes go up because now everybody thinks there's some booming area, so we got to be a part of it. So the cost all around you goes sky high. And then those apartments that are being built, you got corporate housing. There's all these things that people do not consider when they think about when a data center or a large corporation moves into an area. A data center is basically a large corporation without all of the cars. You don't see a lot of cars there. They got a small workforce that keeps the place running. Then after that, that's it. So that's the other thing they sell you on is, yeah, it's not going to be a lot of traffic. It's not going to take up a lot of issues with traffic, and there's not going to be a lot of congestion. Exactly, because there's not a lot of people employed at that data center once it's up and operating. And then how do you explain to someone who's been in that neighborhood for 20 years that, hey, your water costs and your utility costs are going to go up 40-50% when people's utility costs are already high here from when we had the grid failure back in 2021. And we still, every time there's any type of inclement weather, your lights flicker down here. And it's just getting worse because these data centers are everywhere. You can see them. They're not even out. Like, people can argue and then say, oh, they've always been here and nobody said anything. Right. They were out in areas that were zoned for it in a way, and you still didn't know the long-term cost of it. Now they're so close to where you can literally see them from the toll roads. You can see them from 35 in some areas. But here we are. So by 2030, we'll see just how bad this state looks, because it's going to be already a bunch of dry, drought-filled areas, unless they're going to try to, do some weather engineering, as if they don't do that. Or you're going to see a bunch of people that are going to be frustrated to where the noise pollution, then all of the things that come with it drives them away anyway. So you're going to have this whole state full of blocks that nobody lives in. So how many data centers are being built in your area? Leave some comments below, because like I said, I'm in Austin and I'm all over Williamson County and Travis County. So I see it firsthand. Let me know in the comment section exactly what you all are seeing in your area.